Hello, BookTube. Well, it's the last day of July, which is sad and weird on its own, but it means we are poised to enter August, the torrid month of August here in the Northern Hemisphere. And August is home to one of the greatest BookTube events of them all, Garbaugust, Criminali's event, Garbaugust, where we read trash for the month of August. Unabashedly, happily, we read trash. As much as we can get our hands on. Uh, I'm one of the co-hosts for Garbaugust, and I've already done an introductory video. I've led you to better introductory videos about all the different things, all the different wheels and gears. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do. For Instagram, there's a bingo card, there are prompts, there are all sorts of guides, prompts and ideas to fill out your Garbaugust. But really, if you just read garbage, any garbage in August, then you have participated in Garbaugust, and we're happy to have you, smelly though you are. And I'm of course going to participate wholeheartedly in Garbaugust. I've got a bunch of trash to read, but I want to make a couple of throat clearing videos first, and one of the ones that I want to make today, a lot of people are making Garbaugust TBRs. They're sizing up what they're going to read for Garbaugust and making videos about that. And it's not always easy for me to do that because I'm going to do a lot of reading for Garbaugust. A true Garbaugust TBR video for me would be 2 hours long and wouldn't be complete because when it comes to events like this, I'm usually driven by mood. Or not so much mood as what did today's reading suggest for tonight. So I couldn't have foreseen it, but a mention in a non-garbage book made me want to read this particular kind of garbage tonight. So I'm not really going to make an exhaustive TBR, but I wanted to make a partial TBR because I have a perhaps unique distinction among the Garbaugust co-hosts of reading a lot of trash anyway, and not for fun. I mean, it is fun to have a steady amount of garbage in your reading diet all year long. I do, and it's fun to do that. And we'll be talking about that fun in a video tomorrow. But we don't have to deal with that storm cloud today. Instead, I do read a lot of garbage throughout the year, but I have a remit, a set for my reading. The parameters of my reading. I believe we all set parameters for our reading in one way or another. And my parameters for my reading, the bulk of the reading that I do, have been set for decades. For those of you who are new to this channel, I'm a book critic and a book section editor, and I have been both of those things for a long, long time. So I have always been involved in the book market, not marketing books. There are plenty of people on BookTube who cheerlead books and love to help market them, but the book market, where I am reading, a huge bulk of what I read is from the new releases in the American book market in the 15 or 16 genres that interest me. You might say, well, it sounds like you're still restricting yourself, but how many genres interest most people? I think 15 or 16 or 17 is a pretty good number of genuine interest, where I will try to read every major mainstream new release in that thing. That accounts for a lot of books, and a lot of the books that I read in a year are in that bailiwick, that remit that I make for my reading. And, well, we're among friends here, right? We can be blunt. A lot of that is garbage. A lot of that is. Theodore Sturgeon's rule definitely applies here. That 90% of science fiction is crud, and then again, 90% of everything is crud. Well, that applies to every kind of reading. We tend to be a little bit more open-minded and generous here on BookTube. If a book fails in a number of ways, we try to let it down gently. Talk about how this element of it might work for you. Maybe this little element worked for me, but it mostly wasn't successful. I love that attitude on BookTube, but I am a critic, and usually if a book fails in 4 points out of 7, I say it stinks. I start there. I move on to dissect all the failures rather than hold up the successes. And I do a lot of that kind of reading, not just in August, but in every month. I read a lot of garbage. And I'm going to continue that, right? I love BookTube events. I swing into them wholeheartedly, except for the ones that I'm currently ignoring. I'm currently ignoring Book Trek and Summer of Sport, but I'm going to change that in August. But Garbaugust, I'm certainly not going to ignore at all. I'm going to jump in head first, so to speak. I let those dictate a lot of my reading, but not all of it. in any month, I am still very much sticking to my remit, to the new releases, ebook or physical copy, in the American book market. And I wanted to do a TBR of that. That is a TBR that is a little more manageable. It shows, I'm going to show you some books. It's not all of the garbage that I'll be reading that comes from the mainstream press, because, among other reasons, a lot of the trash that I will read of August new release books, I don't know is trash ahead of time. I won't know it until I read it. It's not going to signal itself. And that's because there are two kinds of trash, right? There are two kinds of trash. There's innocent trash, and there's guilty trash. And there are authors for both. And not all the authors of innocent trash are innocent. And not all the authors of guilty trash are guilty. It's a weird kind of quadratic equation, you might even say, if you knew what the heck that was, which I don't. Innocent trash is trash where this is so over the top, it's so predictable, it's so thin, or to use Ollie's word, it's so commercial, that there's not any doubt in anybody's mind. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that when you are reading this, you are wasting your time. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. If that brings you pleasure, there's nothing wrong with wasting your time at all. But even so, you know it. You know it. If you're reading a brainless bodice ripper or a sexist spy thriller or something like that, where even at your most summertime relaxed reading mind, you're still saying at the end of chapter 14, well, okay, that doesn't make any sense. And you tell yourself, no, don't quibble. Just go along for the ride. But even at your most relaxed, even at your least critical, you're thinking, oh, that wasn't very well written, was it? That is innocent trash, where it's known to everybody. Now, keep in mind, the author of innocent trash may still be innocent. They may not know they're writing innocent trash. They might be innocent of that. They might be pouring their heart and soul into it. I've found that it's usually not the case. Usually, an innocent author will not know that they're writing trash, and a guilty author will. And they might be writing innocent. A guilty author might be writing innocent trash, where they know they're writing trash and they want you to just enjoy it. Or a guilty author might be writing guilty trash, where it's got all the trappings of something that isn't trash, and they know how fraudulent it is, but they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. So are you starting to follow? A guilty author can write either guilty or innocent trash. An innocent author cannot write guilty trash. But they can write innocent trash. Anyway. Or an innocent author can write both. Both authors can write both. It's a question of authorial awareness, and it can get pretty dicey, especially since an innocent author writing guilty trash can sometimes sneak their way into the literary canon, where they, in all their wide-eyed innocence, are sure that they are writing great stuff. They're actually writing garbage. And sometimes their conviction, or the conviction of some of their readers, can lead those books straight into the reading lists at colleges and high schools. I am not going to be dealing with that kind of trash in Garbaugust. But I am certainly, because in Garbaugust, I'm not looking to spoil anyone's day. I'm not looking to burst any bubbles. But I am certainly going to be dealing with that kind of garbage in my remit reading for August. Am I making any of this clear? I'm hoping that I am. That kind of garbage, where a person is perpetrating garbage and thinks, for all the world they're not, thinks they're writing a great masterpiece, fiction or nonfiction, I'm going to be dealing with that kind of trash all throughout August. I deal with that kind of trash all the time, every day. I'm not going to be dealing with that for Garbaugust. But it is still going to be out there. And I'm also going to be dealing with guilty authors writing innocent trash, where they're writing stuff that looks on the surface to be harmless, but they know it's not. And they know why. They have guilty motives. So they know what they're doing. They're just trying to hide it from you, the reader. So it gets into a quagmire. I'm going to try to deal only with innocent trash. That's all I'm going to try to do for Garbaugust. But for my reading in August, a large part of it will not be innocent. A large part of it will either be the author doesn't know they're producing garbage, but they are, or the author knows they're producing garbage and doesn't want you to know it. That'll be a cause for anger and irritation, but I will take out that anger and irritation in written form. I won't do it in Garbaugust. So I wanted to show you a little bit of the August new release TBR that illustrates what I'm talking about. I hope. A little. Since it's a mess. I'm hoping it illustrates it a little. Like, for instance, there's this one. This is by Cara Bristol. And it is Help Wanted, Wife. And it's a Blue Alien novel. Now, these are indie published. They are an industry on their own. The Blue Aliens always have these kinds of scaly things. They always have Fabio hair. They usually have weird mating practices that take a little getting used to, and also a little bit of lower back strength. And again, no offense to Cara Bristol, but I don't know her at all, and I don't think I've ever read anything in the Cosmic Mate series. But I think I can guess beyond a shadow of a doubt that she knows what she's doing, and that she doesn't think she's writing Larry Niven's Ringworld here. I don't think she thinks that at all. I think she thinks that she's writing harmless escapist trash about sexy blue aliens. I'm pretty sure that if I were to talk to her, that's exactly what she'd say. And I'd be willing to bet she's making a good side living doing it. Nothing wrong at all with reading this kind of trash and loving it. Mainly, in my opinion, because the author is in on the joke. The author knows what she's writing. And so you are free to just sit back and enjoy it. Just turn off your brain and enjoy it. So that's one kind of trash. That's on my list for August. Okay. This next one is a historical murder mystery. I don't know anything about it. It's by Carla Simpson. And I don't know anything about it. I gather that it takes place in 19th century Paris. And I don't know which kind of trash it is. For all I know, it might not be trash at all. I confess that because I'm 8 years old, I only picked it for the cover. Because, intentional or not, that is about the trashiest cover I intend to see in the month of August. So I had to include it. Sorry. You knew this when you married me. I'm incredibly immature. Let's move on. But to get a little more serious, there will be books coming out here that are dishonest or lying or hectoring. They will be garbage. They may be innocent. The author may believe it, still ends up being garbage, or the author may just be a grifter and maybe in on it, maybe trying to work a grift for an audience. For instance, there's this thing. This is by Ashley Shue, and it is against techno-ableism. The subtitle is Rethinking Who Needs Improvement, and that leads right away to the founding premise of the book, which may or may not be true. I only know the advanced material about this. I haven't read the book. I will read it in August. But the advanced material goes along the stupid lines of that it is colonialist oppression, it's racist, it's sexist, it's, say it with me now, literally worse than Hitler, to refer to disabled people as disabled or to think of them at all that way. They're just a different kind of society. They're differently abled. They are superiorly abled. You shouldn't be encouraging them. You shouldn't be trying to help them without their solicitation. You shouldn't be going out of your way to accommodate them, because that's techno-ableism. And it's really shameful behavior. It really makes you the scum of the earth. I know what you're thinking. In the American Midwest or the Upper Midwest or the West Coast or the East Coast or anywhere, if you're a normal person, if you're not part of the alt-left or the alt-right, you're thinking that doing those sorts of things for someone in a wheelchair or with maybe one arm or a severe hearing impairment is kindness. But that is just a kindness. I see you in Costco, you're having trouble maneuvering something because you've only got one arm to do it with. I will stop what I'm doing, I will go over and help you. That is not Hitler invading Poland. That is not evil. That is actually very good. That is a very kind thing to do. And in the Midwest or the Upper Midwest or Texas or the East Coast or anywhere where normal people are, the person you're doing that kindness for is going to thank you. They're going to be happy that you did. They weren't asking for help. They're perfectly happy to try on their own. They're not trying to impose on anyone, but they'll be happy to try to help them. I can guess from the publicity material of this book that this author violently hates people who make those gestures. Violently hates them. Wishes there were a way to penalize them by law or even to kill them. And if she thinks that way, if she thinks about techno-ableism or alternately abled people, then she almost certainly either personally partakes of the lunacy at the heart of it or pretends that she does in order to grift money, which is that it's a lifestyle choice, that it's an identity. And that is not true. That is just not true. In reality, in the reality that normal people who are not part of an ideological crowd live in, that is not true. A person who's confined to a wheelchair is not differently abled. They are disabled. None of us are thinking that makes them Quasimodo up in the bell towers of Notre Dame. None of us think that. But they are disabled. Because if they could snap their fingers and get out of that chair, they would. And when I have talked to, been around, the real zealot true believers, the blue-haired, lightning out of the eyes, true believers of this nonsense, they will sometimes say, no, I wouldn't do that. I embrace my different abilities, and I would not be normally abled. That's insane. That's insane behavior. And I don't know this author, so I don't know if this book is written from the point of that insanity or not. And for all I know, this book could be addressing the real kinds of techno-ableism, which do exist and are really prevalent and are really, first of all, they're really bad for disabled people, but they're also, in large parts of the public, unconscious and could stand with a consciousness raising on the subject. That's always a valuable thing to do. I somehow doubt that that's what this book is about. So it could go either way. This could either be really thought-provoking about genuine techno-ableism, or this could be awful. Just awful. Just podium-pounding, reality-denying, guilt-inducing, grift-screeding. In which case it would be garbage. So you see what I mean? That would be really bad. Same thing with this next one. This is by Ava Reed. This is a historical novel called Lady McBeth. Okay. I have read 5 historical novels about Lady McBeth. They've all been good to one extent or another. They've all been interesting to one extent or another. They fall well short because the model here is William effing Shakespeare. And not Shakespeare on an off day either, but Shakespeare in one of his best tragedies. In other words, one of the best tragedies ever written by any human being in the history of the world. There's nothing left. There's nothing missing from Lady Macbeth in the tragedy Macbeth. But nevertheless, those novels that I've read, some of them have been good. Some of them have been really intent on fleshing out what would have been Lady Macbeth's historical world. I think a play that starts with soothsaying witches is not set in the historical world, but what do I know? And for all I know, this book could be that. But what are the chances? What are the chances that instead this is Lady Macbeth reimagined like Circe, like Hera, like Atalanta, like all the other things that we have seen, as a take-charge girl boss who don't need no man? What are the odds that Lady Macbeth is the only forward-thinking, bright, free-thinking individual in this world, and that all the others, because they're men, are evil? What are the odds that this is just another stupid feminist, I hate even to use the word feminist, retelling of some woman from history or mythology? By now, those of us who read a lot of new releases have read dozens of those books. They are all ridiculous. They are all utterly absurd. Unless they take a hard-edged approach to things. Unless they write in the real world that actually existed. Elodie Harper's books, for instance, about a whorehouse in Pompeii, in the shadow of Vesuvius. Great. They're absolutely great. Quite a few of these things are not. And this, I don't think there's any chance. Again, like against techno-ableism, there's a chance that this is trying to do the right thing. This is trying not to be lunatic. But I don't think there's much of a chance. So this, and talk about an innocent person writing garbage. This author, I'm sure, if she's writing the kind of book I think she is, I'm sure that she thinks that if she stands still enough, someone will carve the marble statue of her that really should be in Central Park. I'm sure that she thinks that she's redressing centuries of social injustice or whatnot with this book that 10 people are going to read. I'm sure of that, but I could be wrong. This could be just a historical novel, in which case If it is just a historical novel like the ones I described, or Elodie Harper's books, it could still be trash. But it won't be the knowing, it won't be the kind of trash that's bad, that where the author is trying to grift rather than entertain. So you never know. We will see. This next one is Stephanie Okafor. And this will be a certain kind of trash, certainly. Probably the kind of trash that I read almost every day. This is The Power of Your Dreams, a guide to hearing and understanding how God speaks while you sleep. So this will be a Christian book, a new Christian book. And from the sound of it, it's going to be about how you should pay attention to your dreams because that's God speaking to you. In which case, this will be by definition innocent garbage, but it will also be really, really bad. It will be really, really bad. It won't be guilty garbage in the sense of a guilty pleasure. It will be a thorough waste of time. Just a thorough waste of time. We know, science knows what dreaming is. There's no mystery to it whatsoever. None at all. There is no mystery left as to what dreaming is, why, when, and how it happens. None at all. It is, like everything else in the world, a biochemical process that can be altered, changed, or stopped by biochemical means. So this woman is on her pillow in her bedroom, but if she were on a pillow in an examination room in a teaching hospital, any aspect of her dreaming life, any aspect of it at all, could be prolonged, shortened, changed, or stopped by a competent doctor. There's nothing supernatural about it at all. And that's not even talking about the fact that you're talking about the omnipotent creator of the universe. Why wouldn't he talk to you when you're awake? Why wouldn't he talk to you audibly from flaming letters in the middle of Times Square all day long? If he wants to talk to you, why would he talk to you when you're asleep, unconscious? I'm sure this book will tell me why. That maybe Satan has control over your conscious thoughts, or that your conscious thoughts are when you're most distracted by sin. Any of you who have ever had slightly unclean dreams will be wondering if your dreams are so pure a state. This, in other words, will certainly be garbage. There's no chance that it can't be. None whatsoever. The existence of, first of all, the God that is being referenced here is one God. A version, some kind of version of one of the Christian gods, the main God in Christian mythology, the one who's the father of Jesus, and I guess the bird keeper of the Holy Spirit, who's the head of the legion of innumerable angels who also get prayed to, and the boss in a corporation of innumerable saints who also get prayed to. I'm guessing that that's the God being referenced here, so he is one of 20,000 gods that humans have had. So first you're talking about that. Can't prove that he exists at all. Can't prove that any of them ever did exist. Can't prove that you ever have a connection in your sleep with anything that is not of this world. And more importantly, neuroscientists can prove that you don't. So on one level, just by virtue of the title and subtitle, this book is going to be trash. A waste of time, in other words. Will it be entertaining? I don't know. I think on one level it will certainly be innocent trash. I'm sure that the author believes this nonsense. But I don't know that it'll be any fun to read. You see what I mean? This and all the other things that I've been mentioning, I would never bring up in Garbaugust. They would never be candidates. One way or another, whichever way the author leans, the subjects plus the authors put this out of the realm of the fun kind of trash that we're going to be talking about all month in August. This is the same reason why I'm not going to be talking about William Faulkner or James Joyce in Garbaugust, even though I think they're garbage. Because they're not free and clear. It's not innocent garbage written with happily guilty intent. And I want to stick to that. I want to stick to trash in which the author is in on the fun. This is definitely not that. Most of the books that we've seen are not. This next one, I don't know. It could be that the author is in on it. This is by Laurie Cass, and this is No Paw to Stand On. And it is a murder mystery about a bookmobile, but it stars a cat. A cat is a main character in here. And here, the thing that gives me hope to make me think that the author is in on the joke here of making this harmless, cozy trash fun is that there's the bottle of poison on the table there, and the cat is about to do what cats inexplicably but inevitably do all the time, which is to hop up on a flat table or a shelf or a kitchen counter and systematically knock things off. Now, if this cat were true to form, it would knock the wine glass off first, because that's the thing that would bother the human the most. But this is what they do. And this is going to be one kind of trash or another. I would argue that on one level, cozy mysteries are trash anyway. I mean, are we taking murder seriously or are we not? And if we're not taking murder seriously, surely we are writing trash on one level or another. But in addition to that, if past experience is anything to go on, this cat is going to help to solve the mystery. When cats couldn't be effing bothered to solve a mystery, that cat's not going to do anything like that. And it's not just cats. August is also coming out with a murder mystery. I almost put it on this list, where it's another cozy mystery series. I think it might also be book related, where the detective is helped by pets, but they aren't cats; they're dogs. And you might think, well, Steve loves dogs. Surely he's going to be okay with that. No, they're Bernese Mountain Dogs. No offense to you owners out there, although I doubt very much you'll disagree with me, but they are among the dumbest of my people. In fact, they may be the dumbest of my people. Them and Basset Hounds, right there at the bottom of the list. Bernie will not know. Bernie could not help you solve a murder mystery at all. Not in the slightest. They make yellow labs look like geniuses. And that is coming out in August too. So I might enjoy this. I might enjoy a lot of these things. Some of the ones that I've shown you, probably not. But in this case, I don't know if the author is in on the joke. I'm not 100% sure. Usually I think cozy murder mysteries, the authors know they're not writing Solzhenitsyn. They know that. And that's usually permission enough to take it as fun trash and read it that way. Certainly, if some other person, for their TBR for Garbaugust 2024, were to include a cozy mystery, I don't think anyone would be up in arms in the comments field. But I thought I should end this provisional TBR with pure Garbaugust trash. A book that is garbage, and the author knows it's garbage, and the author is happy that it's garbage and wants you to enjoy it as garbage. We are firmly in quadrant 4. We do not need to worry about any of the rest of it. You can just sit back and have a whale of a time. These authors do an invaluable service for the literary world. Invaluable. Even if, or especially if, all of my critical brethren ignore them. And this is an author that I've showed you before. The author is T.J. Newman, and this is his book, Worst Case Scenario. And this is a story in which a plane crashes. It has an onboard emergency, and we're right there. You are there, details. And that's bad enough. But it hits a nuclear reactor. That is the worst case scenario of the title. I can't wait to read this. I think it's going to be just pure, wonderful trash, and don't we need more of that in the hottest days of summer? So I thought I'd end with that. I've shown you this before, but worst case scenario ought to be on your reading list for Garbaugust. And there you go. So there you go. That's how one of the ways in which I, as one of the worst event co-hosts, always manage to Jesuit up an event by making quadrants and all sorts of shades of gray distinctions between different kinds of trash. And I'm doing it again. It's the way I enjoy events. Not all trash is built the same. Some trash, the author knows what they're doing. They want to entertain you with garbage. Some, the author thinks they're writing genius, but they are writing trash. And you can enjoy it as trash, but you really don't want to tell them that. And then some authors are writing stuff that isn't innocent. It's garbage, but it's not innocent. It's bad. And they don't know it. Maybe they don't know it. And then other authors are writing stuff that is not, it looks like it wants to be some other kind of writing, but it is actually trash, and they know it, and they don't want you to know it. They want to hide that fact from you. Political memoirs come to mind. There are lots of other examples. Climate denial books. Of all those kinds of trash, for Garbaugust, I'm going to try to concentrate only on the kind where it's fun trash, and the author knows it's fun trash, and wants you to have fun. I'm going to try and concentrate on those. I may slip into one of the other kinds or not, but anyway, those are some of my plans for Garbaugust. Of course, as one of the co-hosts, I want to know what you're planning for Garbaugust. Are you going to join us in the trash pit? Are you coming to the dump with us? And if so, are you planning to do a reread? Or are you going to read all sorts of new trash? I would love to hear about it all. Are you going to try and follow the prompts? Tell me all of your trashy plans for August. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, Booktube.